Hello and welcome back to the Remembering Tuscola webcast. I'm David Porter. I'm here with two old guys, Mike Carroll and Bill Englehart. And what were you guys talking about just a minute ago?
Well, hospitals and bandages and others that lie to you about what they're going to do to you.
We were called old this week at a restaurant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You were?
Old farts.
Old farts.
Yeah.
Bill and I were at the Taco Tuesday downtown Mexican restaurant, and one of our fans came up.
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
The guy came up and says, "My wife recognized you from your voice, but she didn't recognize you in person." I said, "Well, I'm a lot younger in person than the computer shows me." It was so I guessed his name. Says, "Come on, you know everybody." So I guessed him. It was Tony Hausman.
Yeah.
Class of 77.
Class of 77. And his wife, Rhonda, he lives in Collinsville. And David, he watches this all the time.
Huh.
And I said, "Tony, you need to get a life."
You want people watching.
Here's what bothered me about that whole thing. When he first walked in the restaurant, I said, "Gosh, I know him, but I can't put my finger on it." So he sits over at the booth. After they're finished eating, they started talking to us. And he graduated 77. He's now 65 years old. And it's amazing. We didn't recognize him. He recognized us. You and I haven't changed a bit.
Well, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I could go back and be in the senior class play.
I think he was in my brother's class.
Yeah.
The comment was made, maybe we've changed from looks, but we haven't changed a bit.
You're never too old to be immature.
Yeah, that's right. That's what Pat Monahan
is. David, he was back home. His mom, Carol, had a stroke a couple weeks ago. As most people maybe in town know. And we sure the best. And Jim, her husband, is having to step up his game, I think, and cook more and do stuff. But Tony said she's doing better. And
happy to hear that.
Recovering well. So we're glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Nice people.
Yeah, hard-working people. Came from nowhere.
Good people.
Didn't have any money and worked hard. And Jim was extremely successful.
If they're watching the show today, they'll want to see these pictures. How many do you have?
About the same as last week. Work on the same group of pictures. Maybe a couple repeats in there.
Oh, good.
Well, maybe Jim and Carol will be in there.
You guys, well, we'll see. There might be one or two that you recognize.
I hope.
Okay, so you're setting our goal at one or two?
One or two.
Oh, that'd be okay. Good. Give us the first one then.
We're going to get all those.
The coach is Jim Ryan.
What I mean by there's one or two you might recognize. There's one of Mike in there somewhere.
Oh, those are
Tingley boys.
Holding the sign are Alex and Paul Lyle. I think that's Lyle Tingley and Alex Tingley.
That's Joe Wilhelm off of the left shoulder of Jim Ryan. Help me, Rhonda. No. These guys are younger than we are. Now we need to move over one. There you go. Wow. I think that's Jim Ryan, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Let's go back up there. We should know this guy right here too, right over.
Yeah, that looks like a Carson.
Pull it back up. Yeah, is that Bill Carson's younger brother? Bill? And what was Bill's younger brother's name?
Can't remember.
Doug Carson.
That's Joe Wilhelm for sure.
I do think that's Doug Carson over.
Yeah.
Lyle Tingley's shoulder.
Well, Janice Moody says John Chambers in the back on the right.
Slide over. That looks like Johnny Chambers.
I'll be darned.
His face looks like Johnny, you can see. Anybody else? Anybody recognize?
That's the only name I had on that one.
We got five of the group, I think.
The Lakers. Oh, we got this one. Go ahead.
I'll do the top. Is
okay.
Jim Fortney, left or right? Don Fortney's older brother. Wendy Ron, Carl Court, Tom Terrific Mercer from Texas.
Bottom row, left to right, Jim Manwaring, Bob Wyatt, and Eddie Alexander.
There's a coach, first year coaching, Don Rumbley.
Yeah.
And this was 1961.
Look at this.
Eddie.
Making an obscene gesture.
I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
This is a 61 group. Great, won the Oakland football. Weren't quite as good in basketball, but they were very good.
But they were good in basketball.
I was eighth grader. The next year when Jim Manwaring was a senior, and Bob and Ed were juniors, so that's when Fortney and I got to play as freshmen.
Yeah. Boy, Mercer was tough.
Oh, wasn't he?
Junior man, there you go. Managers.
One of my favorite guys is Floyd, Junior Barbie on the left. Bob Perrin.
John Tice.
Yeah. John came with USI. He lived out there at Southland Acres. Willa was his sister. Floyd's over at Tilton, near Danville. Bob, I think, lives in Atwood. But I'm not sure.
Didn't he make comments when we were on the original podcast thing?
I don't know, but John Tice wrote me a letter I was making fun of the Indiana Hoosiers, and he mailed me, he lives in Indiana now, he mailed me a corncob pipe. He had a nice letter. John was a great guy. They were all great guys right there. They were managers.
Yeah.
Okay, name them.
Well,
I'll name one.
Well, I've got one for sure. I see. Can we see the feet, please?
Yeah.
His feet are cut off.
Second one in with the glasses. The only one with glasses is Jan Charnetsky.
That's Donna Beard on the left.
That's Donna on the left, and then Geraldine Wellborn.
And then I think this gal's name is Kitty Kish.
I believe that's Kitty Kish, and then Jane Rothkeb.
Kitty's looking right at me.
I think in that picture, I think she is. Yeah.
Well, we have a thing.
She probably saw you over in the corner of the building there. Yeah, you had a thing, all right.
What do they call
that? Envy.
Clifford Klauser.
Pete Green. Tommy Grubb. Roger Chaplin. And Louis Leeds.
Yes. These were juniors that year. They were sophomores in 61.
I wonder whatever happened to Klauser.
Cliff?
Mm-hmm. He went to Navy or something.
These guys graduated in 63, so in 61 they were sophomores.
He was a good-looking guy.
He was a good athlete. They're all just top guys. Roger was a state trooper out, and here we go.
I see you.
You name him.
Ah, that's interesting. Back row. Rick Hoot Gibson. That's Mike Pangburn. Frotz. That's Gail Reeder. Ronnie Cooper. And John Beatty standing together. That's a dangerous pair.
There's a force field right there.
Yeah, there's something there going wrong. Bottom left, that's Denny Shuey. The man in the white tuxedo. Becky, you've got to see this one.
Tyrone Power, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Tyrone Power.
Is that Tyrone Power?
Oh, man.
Wow.
God's gift to Kitty Kish. That's Mike Carroll.
She didn't know what she had, did she?
No, she didn't.
That bow tie.
Don Fortney, Joe Mendel, and Bobby Jones.
Robert Jones's son. And Joe, as I mentioned, is a disc jockey over in merry old England.
Now, that picture is taken in the old Northward Gym.
We're eighth grade.
Yeah,
this is eighth grade. This is 1961.
Yeah, that's 61.
This was the heavyweight.
Where was I? Yeah, I was on the heavyweights. Yes, I was.
You were big enough.
No, I was on the heavyweight team.
That was the year we should have won the state.
Beatty might have pushed me out of the way.
That was the year, Joe, David, we could have won the state basketball, except we played Paxton up on a stage. And they threw the ball in, and we laid in the wrong basket.
Look at that.
Well, that's me when I had anorexia, bulimia. Well, that's my sister's class. This is class of 63. Boy. These are the junior cheerleaders.
Didn't we see this last week?
I don't think we saw it.
There may have been one or two repeats.
Nita Bozart, there's my sis, Melinda. Harold Chaplin, Barb Nuccio, Joyce Newland.
You know what? Didn't we talk about something? Who did you kind of look up to or look at a lot? If you like Kitty Kish, you know, I remember Joyce Newland. Man, she was a good-looking gal.
Her shoes. She had bad shoes.
Was that it?
You name these guys.
Oh gosh, back row. That's easy. That's Danny. Phil Deaver.
Phil doesn't like Danny.
We called. Yeah, he didn't like Danny. Phil Deaver, Eric Flume, and Craig Webb.
We shot a lot of pool.
We shot a lot of pool. Lost a lot of quarters to him. You get the bottom.
It's Bechtel. One of the Bechtels, and Dottie Bechtel's brother. What was his name? Scott? Not Scott. I forget his first name. Clayton Harris, Kenny Stroll, Denny Maddox, and Gary
Forrester.
Beam me up, Scotty Forrester. Gary's got that look. These guys were freshmen in '61. This is the freshman awards.
Clayton Harris hasn't changed.
Here's your class. Some of your class. My class.
Some of your class. Back row. That's Bill Carson.
Pat Carson.
Old row Davis.
Roy Davis.
Roy Davis. And that's Carnine.
Doug Carnine.
Go ahead.
Porky Brewer.
Don't know the next guy.
I don't either.
I don't recognize.
I think he was a cousin to Bob Taylor.
Probably cousin. Yeah, he lived way out in the country.
Good old Mike Allen.
Good old Mike Allen, laughing as always, and Alan Mitchner. Yeah, that's our friend Bob Taylor there in the front row.
He's got his name right.
We got his name right. Was he living in Hugo at that time? He came up.
That came up with a wagon train.
Who's that in the background?
Over there, it looks like Gibson, doesn't it?
That's Rick Beatty.
No. Oh, that's Rick Beatty. Oh, God. I hope he doesn't come up and beat me up for saying that.
He photobombed.
He photobombed this thing. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow. He was a dentist in the service for 20, 30 years. Gary. His dad ran the funeral home. Chuck Brewer. Oh, here we go. Now this is your class. Now we're getting Ingo in here.
Oh, boy.
Got them all.
Becky, here's a good one.
Look at this one. These guys are seventh graders, Becky. This is Becky's class of seventh grade.
Oh. Back row. That's Phil Christ, Bill Hoke, Tom McDaniel. Don't know the next guy.
Dingo Hart.
And Ebba
Wyatt.
Brad Wyatt. Bottom row, go ahead.
Johnny Laster, Greg Skinner, Buddy Whalen,
Kenny Culbertson.
Yeah.
Jimmy Bailey, and Bush Dietrich.
Yeah.
John Dietrich.
Look at John Dietrich's got on white shoes.
Yeah.
That is me in the back.
Yep.
With a suit and tie. Your dad must have got that from Carpenter's
I
for you.
hope so.
And that's the same.
It looked just the same.
Well,
Never changed.
actually, you might look a little better now.
Oh.
Kenny looks the same.
Kenny Culberson looks
Kenny Culbertson looks the same.
Hope looks the same.
Hope looks the same.
Greg looks young and innocent.
Yes, he does.
Look at here's what's scary. People that have 1, 2, 3, 4 passed away.
Is that what there is? Yeah, Phil, Chris,
Ebba,
Ebba.
and Greg and
Greg hasn't.
Well, yeah,
Bailey, Jimmy Bailey.
Bailey and John Laster.
I said he wasn't.
John Laster's passed away.
I said Johnny right here.
Yeah.
What? I said,
Great picture.
great picture. Greg, if you're out there, hello. You look great back in the seventh grade.
What's up with all the hands on the shoulders? I guess that's
Well, you don't want to know. Back in those days, it was under the table.
Yeah.
well, and Bill's got both hands on shoulders. Everyone
Well,
else has
Bill
just
was
one
very
hand.
well liked.
Well,
Looks like a middle school principal there, doesn't he?
yes, he was.
Jimmy Bailey wound up being an big oil exec down in Houston. Tom McDaniel wound up being the vice president of Caterpillar, very successful. Bush Dietrich lives on the side of a mountain outside of Salt Lake. They all did very, very well.
Bill, when did you have surgery to have your ears pinned back?
Well, we pinned him. He got in high school. Fortnite pinned him back for him.
Actually, I think Gene Murray did.
Gene Pendoller was back. There we go. This is your class again.
Oh boy, back row, Jim Helm, Glenn Pugh, and old Stu Carmack. Bottom row, go ahead.
Steve Henniger,
Jan
Jan
Jameson.
Jameson, looks like Steve Hooker and Stanley Stoner from my class. You get Steve Hooker
It is Steve Hooker.
and Stanley Stoner, who just passed
He
away
just died, didn't
about
he?
2 months ago. Stanley was a great guy here for a short time. His dad was a minister. Ministers come and go pretty quick here in Protestant land.
Stanley Stoner really liked Tuscola. And
Oh man, he was here a year or two. He came to all our reunions. He was in all of our email scrums.
Really loved it.
He really loved Tuscola. Had great memories.
Jameson's
Stevie,
dead.
go back one there. Stevie Hooker, by the way, went over to Culver Military Academy. He's kind of like Englehart and Skinner. He needed discipline.
Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
There's my 8th grade cheerleading group.
Yes.
Debbie Hackett.
Debbie Hackett, Becky
Hackett.
Alexander, and Bill was the male cheerleader back then. Bill Burris.
Yeah. He was actually the sponsor.
Yes, he was. Joellen Cunningham, Monahan, and Betty
Powell.
Betty Powell. They were best.
You know, now this is interesting. I think now cheerleaders at the East Prairie, I think we have a minimum of 10, there might be 12.
Yeah.
And in the old days, you had 2 7th graders and you had 2 8th graders. That's total cheerleading right there.
Yeah. Yeah, they were great cheerleaders. That's the old Northward Gym.
Here's
Bill.
Here's Bill and Mike.
Pardon?
Here's Bill and Mike last Tuesday, dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I had my caps out. I had my caps out, so
I don't have any names on this. You recognize anybody?
Nope.
part of our illegal immigration problem in the 60s.
Whoa.
That is, I think, I'm going to take a wild guess. The one on the left is Mary Jane Jackson, and the one in the stripe is Carolyn Jackson, her sister.
Could be.
The 2 bathing suits. I don't know.
Those are the only 2 names I had.
Well, good. You got them.
This is the community building lot, I think, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is that's City Hall.
That's City Hall lot.
Yeah, that's where Bill McCarty built his new bank there, and he built it in the shape of a football. That was his only criteria, to build in the shape of a football.
Yeah, that's before that.
Yeah.
Before that building was built.
Yeah. That's got to be in the late 50s, right?
I wonder what was there before.
Well, is this a 58 Ford over here?
That's pretty hard to tell.
See the headlights? I think this is 58, 59. This had been right about the time it was built.
You know who cut the ribbon on the new bank? Gus Flesser.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this building here is where the bank would have been. In this building where Joe's Pizza is now.
Right.
You can see Orange 5 and Dime back there.
Yes, you're right. Looking south. Well, that looks like Larry Williams. Larry Williams was a wonderful sign painter who painted almost all the signs in Tuscola in the 60s, 50s and 60s. He was a farmer, but he also had this tremendous ability as a sign painter. And he did it freehand, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wonderful. I think that's Larry.
No wonder they didn't have me ever do that.
Yeah.
Back left, in the black dress, that's Tracy Carpenter.
I think that's the only name I've got on this one. Somebody having an anniversary.
That lady in the middle, we should know.
Well, there's
some of the old vets. I see
there's Al Shields.
Al Shields.
Al Shields on the right, first one in. Kind of covered by the flag there. Hoppy Connor.
There's Hop on the far right.
Far right is Hop.
I think those are the only 2 names I had.
Wayne, that's my class. Wayne Henniger, and Joyce Thomas on the right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what kind of awards they got. Wayne was outstanding singer, and in fact still has a gospel group. I've got one of his CDs of his gospel group. Joyce was good at everything, good student. And I don't know, she could have won from anything. Okay, front row, the person close on the right is Nancy Norton, who lives in Brooklyn. Last time I talked to her, and is a professor of Princeton in Chinese language. That's Cindy Clare next to her, married Bob Rogers. Over on the far left is Bob Nunn.
That's Bob Nunn. That's Gary Teague.
Gary Teague, and help me with that one.
They can't do it.
Now slide over a little bit. We want to get the girls from the right to left. That's Pam Lockhart.
Carol
Strode, Renee Allen, Hediger,
Marcia
Truitt. There's Jimmy Gould.
Jim Gould.
Right behind.
Yeah.
Trotz. There's LH Man, one of the I've never seen LH Man smile, and it might have been because the 8th graders were graduating and were leaving.
Might have been able to get them out of the building.
You can almost make out some people back here.
That's Danny Russell. It looks
like Danny Russell. Sharon.
That's
Rose.
Sharon turning with her head there.
Yeah. Angela Black over here on the left.
Yep. I think so.
Yeah,
that's the only time in my life I ever seen LH.
Wow. Well, we're leaving.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm done with these jerks.
Yeah.
LH is happier than a clam in mud. There's Joyce. I think that's Joyce.
It's Joyce.
Thomas and Wayne Henninger, but I don't know who's presenting them the award.
I went out with Joyce.
I did too. There's Carol. Is that Carol Schroeder or that Barb Weber?
No, that's Barb Weber. And that's Mr. Bozarth presenting.
Oh, that's right. Right behind there in line is Shirley Weber.
Yeah. Pat O'Loughlin.
Is that
I can't tell.
Buddy Whalen?
No, I don't think so.
Steve Hooker, Stan Stoner, Joe Caldwell.
Yeah, there's Joe.
Joseph.
That's Mike. It looks like Mike Kirchner.
It could be Mike Kirchner. This is 8th grade graduation. I remember the talk in the 8th grade graduation that W.A. Bozarth gave to all of us. He talked about having a 1-inch chunk of silver. He said you could go sell it for the silver value for like $1, or you could make fine watches out of them, sell them for hundreds of dollars. So it's what you make out of life. And all I want to do is buy a bunch of chunks of silver. That's what I got out of it. W.A. always had an inspirational.
Oh
boy,
Courtney's cutting a rug.
Is that Don Dash with Joyce?
Joyce Thomas, yeah.
And there's Gail Reeder back there with somebody.
He's cutting a rug. Are you?
I don't know.
Are you wallflower there?
Don was a good dancer.
Well, I'm concerned about you. I don't see you anywhere.
Well, I was at my 8th grade balloon dance. I think
in the gym.
I think my 8th grade year, I think I had a date with Joellen, and they had a balloon dance at the end where you had to stomp on other people's balloons.
Really?
Yeah, they tied your ankle. I remember a balloon dance we lost. We got to the semifinals and lost.
How did they get those things hung up from the rack?
I don't know. Mike Connor on the left.
What a picture.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God. Neat. That's Mike Connor on the left, Max Albritton, Lonnie Von Lanken. That's Linda Miller.
Linda Miller? Roddy Dick.
Roddy Dick. Look at that expression on his face.
Oh, boy.
Steve Bear, Gary Teague.
Yeah, Linda Dunning worked at the clerk's office. When I was a judge, she worked in the clerk's office. Linda was a great gal.
Well, you know she's a great gal. Look at Lonnie and Ronnie are both hanging on to her.
They're all fighting for her. That's the old Northport School. That's got to be 8th grade graduation. In 1961. Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at that cat. That's Joe Caldwell with his entourage.
When did Joe get all those?
Well, he was working the background a lot of times. Yeah.
Oh, there's Linda Matheny. Second from the right is Linda Matheny. Is that Marilyn House? First one to the right. Go back out.
Yeah, it looks like her.
On the right, Marilyn House, Linda Matheny. Just Oh, way over there's Dick Gardner.
Dick Gardner, yeah.
Lena Matheny's just back to the Tokyo. No, she didn't go to the Tokyo Olympics till 64.
Mm-hmm. This is 61.
Yeah, 61.
Or,
who's
or no, it's 61.
Who's next to Joe there?
Who was that girl?
I don't know.
It's not Marie Holland.
Well, I don't think so. And their side's Ann Ferguson Monahan.
Yeah.
Ann doesn't look too happy to be hanging on to Joe.
Well, Joe's happy. That's all that counts.
They're best of friends today.
Yeah. They correspond.
Yeah.
And who are the two on the left?
They moved. I don't know.
They're from Humboldt.
Yeah.
No,
that is
Hugo.
Maryland. That is Maryland.
I think it's Maryland on the right.
But who is that?
We should know that one on Joe's left arm.
Joe didn't want anything to do with her.
He was shy.
Well, yeah, he had a hand. What more could you ask for?
Or Dick.
Dick Gardner, where is he?
I lost track of Dick. Buddy Whalen. On the far right, looks like Julie Little.
Yeah. Her dad ran the restaurant.
Yeah.
Harry Little was her dad.
Next one
in the hotel. Sandy Stinson.
No,
was that her name?
Well, it was on the far left is Sandy Ritchie.
Yeah, that's Sandy Ritchie.
And the two girls buddies holding on to.
I think that girl was named Sandy Stinson, but you know what? Bob Taylor will tell us.
Bob Taylor's yelling at us right now.
He's yelling.
Wonder who the one on the other side of Buddy is.
I just can't tell.
All I've got here is Sandra Ritchie left in and Julie Little Johnson on the far right. I think you already had those.
Yeah, we had those and Buddy.
What's up with this rocket ship?
Well, it was Sputnik time, It was 57, 58. It was a space race. We were very forward-thinking kids.
The boy looks pretty happy.
His dad was high school principal for the next few years, and Buddy's down at New Orleans, I think.
Had a restaurant.
Got a shrimp boat. He's at Duflay.
Got clobbered on the forehead there.
Well, yeah.
Well, one of the girls gave him a love tap.
How about this one?
Gosh.
Oh, man.
Mozart.
I don't remember me singing, but there I am.
Well, there you are.
Okay. There's the first one I'm not sure. Angela Black, Joyce Thomas, Mike Pangburn, me, Mitch, Teak, Hooker, Caldwell, Sharon Rose. Far right on the end is Mary Toomey. And that is
Mrs. Van Voris playing the piano.
Phil Christ watching us, rapt attention.
And just so everyone gets a good look at Mike Carroll singing.
Yes.
With your little.
Well, his mouth's open.
I had an offer to go. I had an offer from Decca.
That's the night he caught the flies. Yeah, he choked slightly. Right after that, he choked, and Mike Pangburn had to slap him on the back.
This is my class again. Pat O'Loughlin, Wayne Henniger. Go ahead.
Phil Christ. That's a
Kathy Breen.
Kathy Breen. Kleiss.
Vern Kleiss. They lived up south edge of Pasodum, and they just gave their house to their son, and I think they live up in Philo now in a real nice house.
Mike Allen with that big smile as usual.
Is that Ronnie Clapp? Or is that
could
Lecker?
be?
Is that Lecker?
Yeah, gosh, I don't remember Lecker being that short.
And Danny Russell.
Dan Russell was a longtime teacher in Tuscola school system. He's the one that brought a lot of the technology, computers to Tuscola schools.
That may be Leck. Taylor would know, and he's yelling at us right now.
Bill Chris was a strong kid.
Bill Strick, he was just a bowling ball.
Yeah. He married a Benner to start with, I think, Sharon Benner. Michael Laughlin's still in town, I believe.
I've seen Mike.
Yeah.
Maybe Lois, can't pronounce the name. Sarah
Sawson. That's Lois Kleiss.
Says Barry Kleiss, I think, second from right.
That's Barry?
That's what.
Barry,
But
no.
everybody there's in my class.
Yeah, Barry Kleiss was in 67.
All right.
That could be, but he snuck in there. Or they held him back 2 years. On the left looks like Bonnie Hanners. Ritchie, Sandy Ritchie.
We don't know that other girl. Then Carol Wilson.
Carol Wilson, Ann Ferguson, Linda
Linda
Matheny,
Matheny.
and this girl that we
The
don't.
mystery girl.
You know, maybe that.
I would have thought you knew her. That's Marie Holland?
Well, I don't know.
Bob Taylor, where are you?
I don't know. Here are the girls singing.
Well, on left to right. The second one in is Joyce Thomas. Then Joellen Cunningham. Then we have Shirley Weber Taylor,
Yeah.
Kathy Rice,
Barb Weber,
Wish Dunn,
Cheryl Schroed, Marcia Truitt. Slide over a little bit. Oh, that was
that's
it.
it. Yep, we did pretty well.
And Carol Throat says Linda question mark, Bonnie Powell, Joellen Cunningham, Shirley Weber Taylor, Kathy Rice. I think you got all the others.
Oh, you know what? That could be Linda Wilson.
On the far left?
Yeah, Linda Wilson Lane.
Linda Lane says, I remember this. That is me on the far left, and I remember my dress was turquoise.
Boy, she was a pretty girl.
She's a pretty girl, beautiful girl. She wound up being down at Paris, Edgar County clerk. I think was elected 3 or 4 times in a row.
Right. Talked to her a couple of years ago at a community building when they had the alumni thing.
Yeah,
beautiful. Still a nice looking
beautiful
gal.
gal.
Yeah,
nice gal. Well, that's the.
This is the second group that got to sing after you.
This was the Kamikaze B Club.
Yeah.
Tommy McDaniel, Joe Mendel,
Ronnie Wynn,
and I think it's Stanley McMorris.
Stan.
Roy Davis, Shuey, Schrotz, and Wayne Henniger.
Yeah.
Gail Reeder. Just saw him a couple months ago, came back for the reunion. Lives out in California. Worked for government all of his life, inspecting elevators. Well, that gives you an idea of the size of our class. There were 403 in that class. No, it's 104. So the second row back, second one is Denny Obrick, I think.
That's Obrick, Ronnie Wynn,
Chuck Disher, Mendel, Cooper. Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of guys
we
here.
We can recognize all of them there if you want.
Yeah, Roy Ziegler sitting there next to Mike Allen.
Jim Bailey, Mike Thomas.
Yeah.
We've got everybody.
Yeah, Bobby Jones on the far left.
Nancy Norton.
Fortney's behind him. Denny Obrick. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, they're all just jumping out at us.
Hangburn.
Steve Bear.
Dave,
Tim
this
Lindner.
kid is that a Rife? Dave Rife?
David Rife.
Gee, man.
Right here on the first row. Nobody's going to get this one. There's Steve Bear. There's Bill Carson on the left. Steve Bear and Skip, Tim Lemna, Phil Chris. That's David Reif or Rife.
Yeah. Now, how did we remember that?
Well, we got nothing else to do. Our brain is just turned into Swiss cheese, except for old stuff.
I guess. Man. Let's see in the background. We see a lot of. There's Al Carson.
That is Bill's dad's right there in the middle, tall guy. I don't see Homer and Betty there, Carol. They're just glad I was not running the streets.
Mm-hmm.
What do we see parents there? There's
Bill Rogers.
Stop right there. There's
or it looks like him.
There's Pam Preston and Wayne Henniger. Classmates Nancy Noble.
Yeah.
Carol Rose, Denny Shuey.
Is that W back?
Yeah, he's back there collecting chunks of silver for the talk.
Is that Delbert Davis maybe back there with the bow tie? Can't really tell.
Oh, yeah. If you move that over, it was Delbert.
Move it over a little bit.
It looks like Delbert.
Far right against the wall.
Yeah. Bow tie. That's Delbert.
His boy's in this 8th grade class.
Roy Davis was his son.
You know, we nicknamed Roy Rowe And I talked to his mom and dad later on, and I said, why'd you ever name him Roy? They said, so nobody would ever give him a nickname. It was so short. Whoever guessed we'd call him Ro. There's Bobby Jones on the left here.
Yeah.
Mike Allen. Roy Ziegler. Yeah, those seats were the most uncomfortable seats I've ever sat in my life.
3 boys are gone.
Yeah, too many people have passed away here. Oh, there's Sheriff Gene Miller.
Goodness gracious.
There's another picture later. I think it looks almost like busted up a gambling deal. These look like
punch cards.
Gene
was the father of Linda Dunning in my class. We talked about Linda Miller. Back in those days, you couldn't succeed yourself. So Gene was a sheriff for one term, then he was a treasurer for one term, then back to sheriff for one term. They changed that law. Very popular.
Oh, Mrs. Van Boris. Elizabeth Van Boris.
All of her choirs won state awards.
Her maiden name was Moss. She grew up at Kemp.
We won the state band with Court and Van Boris. We won the state in band and chorus.
This must be in Hugo.
That is that's the first skyscraper in Hugo.
I don't know what polling place it says.
We get polled, huh? What's up on top? Does it say? Is that limestone thing have anything up there?
Can't read if it does.
You know what? That doesn't
look like Tuscola.
That doesn't look like Tuscola. I've looked at pictures of Tuscola. I don't know that.
No, I don't think it's Tuscola. There's
that's in the mail.
That's right.
That's what Gene Miller must have busted up again.
Yeah,
It probably came from Jake's, the pool hall.
Yeah, I threw that in because I think that's had to do with what he was holding.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Gene did a bust. Gambling bust.
Nothing here?
Well, we should. Where is that?
Who knows?
Is that Newman?
I don't have any names on that.
Name on it.
Well, there's Tracy Carpenter again.
Right? That's Tracy.
Who are the other people?
Well, next to her on the left is Mary Hance's mother, Mary Hance.
Oh, Jensen.
Oh, that's Pam's mother.
Pam Jensen's mother.
Yeah.
Pam Grover.
Yeah.
Mary Margaret Jensen Hance.
She was a pretty woman.
She was really a nice looking. She was a beautician. But you know what? I haven't seen a picture of her in years.
No, I haven't either.
God, no wonder the girls are so good looking. She was a nice looking woman. She died very young, as I remember.
Well, here I am again.
Look at that.
What did you?
That's me on the far right.
He's begging for money. It says give.
Yeah, I give. This is me again. Now, going left to right, on the bottom, that's me on the right. That's Linda Holmes, Tamara Neal. Ted Leaflighter.
Roy
Ziegler. And Ryan. Kevin Ryan.
Looks like.
Back row is Mrs. Carpenter, Christine Cook, not sure the woman, then Linda Callahan, and then Ducky, the art teacher, Ducky Downs.
Ducky Downs.
Well, it wasn't his name. We called him Ducky.
Yeah. You know what? I had his son in school at Arcola.
Didn't we have him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very fastidious. Good artist.
He made somebody sit in the corner.
Well, that's probably Ingo.
No, it was mean.
Was it really? You got set in the corner?
No, not me.
You said it was me.
No, I said he was mean. He set somebody in the corner. Made him look at the corner. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Look at that stylish sweater with the sleeves pushed up and.
Wow, what a fashion statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at that hair.
Where did that hair on his? Where did that hair go? Yeah. That's him.
Look at those eyes.
Look at those eyes. Well, he was looking at someone in the.
They often compared me to Elvis back then.
Your lower lip comes down.
Yeah.
Was it Elvis or Fabian? Or was it Warren Zenon? There's the same people back there.
Yeah.
Ryan, Linda Holmes, Ted, and Christine Cook.
Someone has to tell me why Andrea didn't win. Because she won all the contests.
Well, Andrea and I both, I was selected to go to Women's Club, sent me to Allerton Park for the art camp, and then Andrea went the next year, or 2 years.
She went
2 years later.
Yeah.
You didn't win this, Bill, because this was an amateur contest.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was semi-pro.
yeah, she won everything, I think.
I don't have any names on this. Doesn't sound like you guys do either.
No.
Well, there's Mrs. Hance again, looks like, on the left, and Tracy again. Tracy was in a lot of photos.
Yeah.
Tracy was very involved in women's club and whatnot. Her husband was Gene Carpenter, and of course, Carpenter's Clothing in downtown Tuscola.
They were very, very well liked, thought of.
Yeah.
I think she was 95 years old when she died.
Gene was a very soft-spoken guy, wasn't he?
Prisoner of war.
Prisoner of war,
World War
II.
II, German prison camp.
They bought a house and lived down there where the Bush house next to the old Methodist church, where Smiley Burnett used to come back and visit.
Where Spillman lives now.
Where Spillman.
I don't have any names on that one.
There's Delbert Davis on the right.
No, there's Delbert with a bow tie on.
On the left is L.H. Mann. And there's Ducky Downs in the middle.
Jack Downs.
Jack Downs, very good.
Yep, L.H.
And Tracy Carpenter again.
She's in a lot of photos. L.A.'s still smiling because these ragamuffins are gone.
Yeah.
They're now the headache of the high school.
That's the backboard and the red rim I used to like to shoot free throws on, because the one in the mid center was too tight. This one on the right was
we stretched it out for you.
Thanks.
A little more forgiving.
Yeah, more forgiving.
Well, there's Mayor Jones on the left. This is City Council. Mayor Jones, at least the old mayor, Arnhem Bear.
Dr. Steiner.
Dr. Steiner.
Don't know.
Wayne Sipe.
I don't know. Might be.
The 2, 4, 6 one is Ray Carlson.
O.B. Smith.
Can you slide down a little bit?
Oh, Orson Moorhead's at the end.
Now in the front is the guy who owned the Strand Theater we all loved.
George Barber.
There's the mayor, Dr. Burns. There's Don McCumber and Bill. Is that Bill Alexander?
That's Bill Alexander.
That's Eddie's dad and Gary's granddad, our superintendent's granddad. It has all the earmarks of Hugo.
Yeah, I don't have any names on that one.
Is that Mrs. Deaver? Althea?
It's Althea.
And is that Bissy? Somebody?
Dang, who is this?
Oh, come on, we know that.
Oh, man.
We know these people.
That gal on the right, that's...
Owen?
No. Oh, boy. Who is it, David?
I don't, the only name I had was Mrs. Deaver.
That gal on the right.
She's kicked us out of her business, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
That look, no nonsense.
I don't have any names on this one.
That is Hugo.
Yeah, that is. That's
honest to God,
that the water tower?
Or
Camargo.
that's Camargo. That's Mrs. Thompson.
Bob Taylor says it's Phil Ingram and his wife Ruth.
Well, there you go.
Well,
Bob Taylor.
He started the church over there, the Victory Church. It was originally his.
He worked at the plant too, I think, but I didn't know him.
Oh, there's Bill and I.
Trying to drown another kid. Huh.
I didn't have any names on that. I thought maybe somebody might recognize them.
It's hard to recognize that one.
Yeah.
There's the.
We did this one before.
I think we had this one last week.
Yeah, we did.
Court's family, his granddad, grandma, Mr. Court, Mrs. Court.
Carl had to toe the line, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And he did.
And he did. This guy, but
He played football somewhere.
I don't
Victor
know.
Martin says Mike Martin, Grandma Carl, and Bell ?
What did he say? Mike Martin is
That's
it?
Mike Martin.
Is it? Yeah.
At a nursing home on Daggy Street.
Well, didn't he have the restaurant out where they wash cars out on the highway? Wasn't that the White House? Wasn't that Mike Martin's?
Probably.
Shelley Fortney says it's Vivian Fortney on the right. You may not be able to see her.
There.
And
Who said this?
Shelley Fortney.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Kathy Hanner says Dr. John Fishel Arcola, second from right.
Is that Don McCumber with her? That's good.
I've never seen that picture. Where is this? In a church somewhere?
I don't know. Chubb Connor says that's Bill Hancock on the far left.
You know what? That's he had a clothing store in Villa Grove. That's Bill's dad. I don't see Truth there. That Truth is there. Second from the right is Truth of Hancock.
Huh.
Are you run out of things to do? That's Bill's mom. That's Tack Green.
Tack Green.
Tack Green on the left. All-state football player from 1927. All-state in.
Is he saying good evening there?
And Vivian Fortney again, first woman on the left. The woman in the middle looks familiar to me, but I couldn't tell you a name.
Oh man, when I see these
second one from the left is she's Virginia Stilley. Second from the left, Virginia Stilley. She sang at our church. One of the most beautiful voices I ever heard.
this guy here should know, but we don't.
Yeah, I don't have any name in that one.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, there's Carol Teeters. Third from the left is Carol Teeters.
Marilyn Kleiss.
Marilyn Kleiss is fourth from left.
This is one of the nuns, isn't it?
One of the nun twins.
I think.
Yeah, Janice Moody says Ann Nunn, Carol Teeters, Marilyn Kleiss, and Barb Oakes.
Okay.
Oh, it is Barb.
This was timeout. This was This was grade school timeout.
Barb Oakes was our maid of honor.
Mm. She went up Chicago health food store.
She's in Ohio now. She did do up there.
Health Ford had a chain of health food
she
store.
Did. Yeah, she did very well.
And Ann Nunn Jacoby says, "Oh, my curly hair, about 13."
Who said that?
That was Ann Nunn Jacoby.
Well, good. I'm glad Ann's watching this stuff.
Or Marilyn retired as a professor at Illinois State University. Oh, this is Wayne Henniger's dad, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think so. That's Mr. and Mrs. Henniger. I think.
Well, her name was Thelma, and his name was it was farmer. They were farmers.
Mm-hmm. Can't tell you.
Chubb Connor says Reverend Leslie Wolf is second from left.
Oh, well, I did well then.
Well, he had some of the letters of the alphabet.
I don't have any names on this one.
I'm not even going to guess.
Now we'll get in trouble. Bill doesn't want to have two in a row wrong. Hurt his ego. Here we go. This is Bill.
Oh, boy, look at this.
This is Bill's era.
There you go, Beck. Back row, my good friend Gordon Rice, the stroke man. Let's see. That is Willard Tattershaw. I bet no one can get that one.
I was going to say it if you didn't.
Yeah. Doug Rice, John Rosgab, Gary Graham. Go ahead. You want to do the bottom? Or
Dale Knetz, Jerry Cohen, Phil Stallsworth, Doug McCumber, and Greg Eaton.
Yeah, the Cougars.
They were the Cougars.
Yeah.
You have the hands on the shoulders again.
Well, it was the start of a thing that's gotten out of hand nowadays.
Friendly class.
You can't touch nowadays.
No.
Back in those days, we touched a lot.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week.
Oh,
Well, we got what, 93% probably?
Yeah, you did pretty well. Of course, it helps when I have you and Bill in half the pictures.
Well, but even that's caused us a little bit of problem.
I thought that on this week, I thought, well, I don't want to show too many pictures of Bill and Mike, so I won't go to 65. I'll go back a few years. And there they are again in the eighth grade.
That was us 62 years ago. And like I say, what is absolutely amazing is how good we look now.
oh, it's wonderful. Yes.
I mean,
Although Tony describing us as two old farts, that was kind of
I seriously,
right in the middle of a restaurant.
in all seriousness, Dave, do we look a day older than 75?
I don't think you look any older than 80.
No.
Thanks.
I had a physical the other day, and Doc said I'm in remarkable shape for a man of 99.
If that was 62 years ago, I wasn't even born yet.
No, you were.
Well, there was a lot of life back then, David. You missed out on a lot of good stuff.
Well, I got here as soon as I could.
I know.
Well,
That's what Mike Damler said when he gave a talk on the
Tuscola.
Tuscola. He said, I wasn't born in Tuscola, but I got here as quick as I could. Well, David, those are you're just still grabbing out of this one basket.
Yeah, I was still working on, I grab an envelope and I feel like I need to digitize all the photos.
I think so. You don't know who you're gonna. Well, Tattershaw,
Leave anybody out.
Willard Tattershaw.
God,
I mean, you need to call him.
he didn't. Well, he didn't graduate with us.
Well, then don't call him.
No.
Yeah, we've had you a couple times.
You know what I'd like to know? I bet Linda Dunning could tell us what that deal was with Gene Miller.
Well,
That raid.
Gene got written up on a couple big deals. The Tolly thing was written up in the police magazine, and a couple of them. Yeah, I was state attorney in '76, and Gene was still the sheriff. I got to interface with him for a couple of years before he retired.
We've got next week.
Bill Rogers tells the story, and I may have told it before, that he lived in a duplex right next to Gene and Madge Miller. And Gene and Irene, they were young 20s, maybe 30. And his washing machine malfunctioned, and water was shooting all over the floor, an inch or two deep. And they were screaming, yelling. They had Gene come over and said, "What do we do? What are we doing?" Gene pulled out his gun and fired 2 shots into the floor. And the water drained out into the crawl space. He goes, "That'll do her."
Is that true?
Yeah, Bill Rogers loved to tell that story. Bill wound up being, I think, a probation officer or
He was probation officer.
I think. Yeah, with Gene. They were good friends, best of friends. They had a great. See, we don't even know what it's like. We can only imagine what it was like back when Bill Rogers and Gene Miller were young kids. I mean, think of the good times they had in the 40s and 50s.
Well,
you and I didn't have that much fun, really.
I've got 3 more weeks worth of photos.
Well, you had to go
From that same box, I've got 3 more weeks worth of photos. I got more Biddy basketball team photos and people coming out of church. They seem to like to take pictures of people coming out of church.
Yeah. Everybody put on their Sunday finest back in those days, especially the Catholic Church, famous for some of the shots going up the steps. David, let's just run through it, digitize it, and memorialize it for history. And then we'll move on to eras that maybe Bill and I are not in, and we won't know anybody.
You know, that could happen. But I need.
Think it's happening.
Hey, David, you better grab us while you can.
So I figure you guys know most of those, so got to get them identified while we still can.
Well, our computer disk is still spinning a little bit. Our hard drive is starting to run. How are you doing, Bill? You starting to get forgetful yet? Huh?
What?
Huh?
Well, I'm just glad that Tony and Rhonda got to watch the program.
Yeah. Once again, shout out to Tony and Rhonda, houseman down there in Belleville.
She was from Muhammad, she said.
She's a Muhammad gal.
Yeah.
Tony said we never had a chance against Belleville Altoff. He said they beat a 7A team down there by about 3 touchdowns. He thought we did good to score 41 points. So maybe we played a good game. Hey, the cross country team is.
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought that up.
David, I thought your paper this week did a wonderful job on the masthead showing your Tuscola cross country up there. That's our premier sports event this fall. Basketball, of course, going to be very good, but I would like to see the boys win the state in cross country. I guess they got a chance, and Katie Foltz has got a chance to place in state. I don't know if she can win it, but I
thought it's pretty important. Winning sectional as a team for the first time in the school's history, and
they got a real chance. I think they got a real chance of state.
Yeah,
a lot of times football and basketball gets all the media attention.
Yeah.
I thought
those are good. Those kids have worked hard. They run. You can just see them running out there every day. They've worked hard. They deserve it. And they're running up there. Where'd you say, Detweiler Park in Peoria, which they've run at twice and they've won.
Well, I will say something in regards to the golf team. We just finished. By the way, Addison Ring was the girls' most valuable player.
Bill was assistant golf coach, by the way, for the boys. So
just a little volunteer work. But Braden Goff, one of the more outstanding golfers that Tuscola High School's ever had. I go all the way back. Of course, I can go clear back to Pat Keene, but I think of Andy McGillen. I think of Austin Kokenhire. I think of Cameron Westjohn. The Arsenault brothers played well. And then, of course, here recently, Jarrett Wallace played so well and is club champ at Tri-City, and he's also the county champ. But Braden's right up there with them as far as abilities. Braden Goff, and congratulations to him on a wonderful 4-year career playing golf at Tuscola High School.
Well, Braden's a great kid. I got to meet him. I got to meet he and him and his brother when they
Riker
when they carried a mattress upstairs for me and carried the old one downstairs. Bill said, I got a couple young studs that can do this, and great kids. They were nice kids.
Yeah.
So anyway, David, we've said this before. I'm going to say it again. You're doing a great service to the history of Tuscola, and we appreciate it.
I think it's like we're history.
Yeah, we are.
I've only got about 10,000 more negatives to.
Well, I don't think Bill and I are going to be able to make it to the end of the photos. I want everybody to know while we still have our mind a little bit of what wits we have that we've enjoyed.
Sure, I'll make it to the end.
Enjoyed it, and when the string runs out, it runs out because it's a coming. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Becky, you have anything you want to say? You've been listening here. Becky's been right here the whole time. Okay,
she just ducked outside.
That's not on.
Well, she's got her jacket there anyway.
Get over back.
What's
say
she doing? Hiding under the table?
Here, say goodbye.
Yeah, she just
Say goodbye.
she left us.
Say goodbye.
Oh.
Say goodbye.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Come on, Beck.
I'm gonna play the outro with you. Say goodbye.
Exercising all day.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We
All
enjoyed it.
All right. We'll see you next week on Remembering Tuscola Webcast.